Hello, what is happening? This is the first video made after Christmas, so I hope everybody had a very good Christmas. You got everything that you wanted, but we all know straight after Christmas is Boxing Day, and that's when the football gets back under the way. And we got a very good game to start. We have Manchester United against Leicester. This is going to be a tough one to predict, but I've gone for, in my bet prediction, I've gone for a penalty in this match. I know Man United are known for their penalties, but I've looked at a stat, and Leicester have scored 8 Premier League penalties so far this season. And if you combine that with Manchester United, there's got to be a penalty in this match, right? There has to be a penalty in this match. I'm hoping for it. But I honestly feel like Man United are going to come out winners in this game. I do think they're going to concede, because Leicester is so inconsistent, rather winning or losing. Some games, you think, oh, well, Leicester are going to win this game and they're going to do well, and they end up getting beat. But United away from home, I think, are probably one of the best teams in the league, especially the way that they attack. It was like a lot of people are saying it's like the old Liverpool team, from before, when they was inconsistent, but they're just used to attack and attack and attack. So it's going to be a very interesting game, a great game to kick off the Boxing Day festives. But I think this is going to be a tight one to call. It is second against third, so you've got to say it's probably the biggest game of the weekend. Next, we have Aston Villa at home against Palace. Palace is the last game. They got thumped 7-0 by Liverpool. No one saw that coming. I don't think even Liverpool saw it coming. They were just emphatic. They were really good. But Villa at home are very inconsistent. They haven't. I think it's been. I think it's been 4 games at home. Yeah, it's been. Villa haven't won since the last 4 games at home. They've lost 3 of them and drew 1. And the one before that is when they did beat Liverpool 7-2. So hopefully, either team don't concede 7 in this game. But I think Villa need to start with their home form. They really need to, take advantage of the game. But I've gone for both teams to score in this one, and Villa to maybe win it 2-1. I think Palace away from home always seem to be a decent team. They're always, they're like more of a counter-attacking team, but I do think defensively, after the last game especially, they're still not there yet. They've got a few injuries as well. I think Cahill's out from this game, so it's going to be a big loss. But I think Grealish is going to be thrown in the side. I think Villa are just going to sneak this one. Another interesting game where both teams have been pretty good. Southampton, in terms of the defeats, they've had 4 already this season, but it's not too alarming. They lost on the first game of the season against Palace, which is, it's the first game of the season, but they've lost against Spurs, Man United and Man City, which isn't really that bad. But Southampton are very underrated this season, but unfortunately they're in 7th at the moment, and I think they're being a lot better than what it shows. I've gone for both teams to score in this one, because also Fulham in the last 5 or 6 games have kind of turned their form around as well. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. Again, a very difficult one to call, but I think Southampton just have enough about them this season. There are a few injury doubts though. Vestergaard, who has been scoring a lot from corners, and Danny Ings is them 2 are doubts, but I feel like they might play, but they are saying that they are doubts. Hopefully they do. I think it'll make it a better game, but I think Fulham will make it a good game as well. Both teams will kind of go for it, but I think Southampton just have just enough for this game. I think they'll bounce back after the 1-0 defeat against City. Now, the biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion, is Arsenal versus Chelsea, if you're looking at it from a club stature point of view. I've gone for a Chelsea 1-0 and Chelsea to win 2-0. I think Chelsea are going to go back through like a bit of look after themselves, more defensive, as they were when Mendy first came into the club. I think Arsenal going forward don't really offer a lot, and they're not very creative. But Chelsea, I think, I'm just going to sneak this one. It's going to be very tight. It's going to be. I actually think it's going to be quite a boring game. I think both teams will kind of cancel each other out, because they are very good defensively with teams. I know Arsenal have conceded 18. But overall they're not actually that bad, and Chelsea only conceding 14 as well, but they have scored a lot. And I think Chelsea, after the big win against West Ham, I think it was a very important win for Frank Lampard after the couple of defeats against Everton and Wolves. But I think Chelsea are going to bounce back. They're going to take this one. Arsenal, it's probably one of the last teams they want to be playing right now at home, but you never know. It's a London derby. Some of these change. Sometimes Arsenal might be able to pull a result out the bag, but I really can't see it, especially with the form that they're in and the attitude, throughout the club, and even the way they're playing. I just don't give Arsenal a chance at the moment. Until they prove me wrong, and then I will give them a chance, but I think Chelsea will run out winners. Now everybody's expecting Man City to win 3-4, 5-0, and I think it can happen. I think I'm going for a 3-0. City to score in both halves. In the last 6 of their 8 games in the head-to-heads, those meetings are average of 3.63 goals. Man City 2.63, Newcastle at 1. So there's going to be goals in this game. Defensively, Newcastle away from home, it's just going to be really guard action. It's just going to be all City. City at home are a lot more attacking than what they are away from home. So I think they have to go for this game. They are sitting in 8th still, City. But they do have a game in hand, but they really could do with a big win as well, just to keep that kind of momentum after their impressive result against Southampton. The next game we have is Sheffield United versus Everton. I think a lot of people are going to be putting Everton in the bets, and I think this is going to be the bet buster. Sheffield United have been very, very unlucky this season. I have written them off, and I do still think they'll go down, but I think this could be a game where they get a result. They've only got 2 points so far this season. Everybody's saying they're going to be the next derby. But I feel like there's going to be one result against a team that can get beat by a team like Sheffield United right now, and that could be Everton. Because Everton recent form has been actually very good. They're beating Leicester, Arsenal, Chelsea. So it looks like it's a guaranteed win, right? Everton away from home against Sheffield United with only 2 points. I mean, it's a no-brainer to put it on. But this is where I feel like this is the one where you think it's a guaranteed bet, and it's not, and this is the one that's going to fuck up your bet. So this is why I'm going for Sheffield United to get a result from this game. I'm going for the 0.05, and meaning, draw. If they draw or win, then I win the bet. But I think they've got a chance. They're at home. At home, they've been very good. They've only been losing or maybe drawing. I mean, they drew 1-1 with Fulham, but they've only been losing by a goal. But I think if they can hold Everton out, I think Everton trying to break teams down aren't as good as the other teams that will be going towards to Bramall Lane. And I think, I'm just hoping for a little bit of a Christmas spirit around Sheffield. They've not really had much luck this season, and hopefully the season can start today. After last week's shocker of just being so open, I've got Leeds and Burnley to draw 1-1. I think it was going to be a lot more tighter defensively this game. I've gone for a Burnley 0.5 as well, where it's a draw or Burnley, and I'll win the bet. I think it's going to be a tight one. Burnley have 10 the form around as well. They've been very, very good recently. But I think Leeds, if they can just get something out of the game, I think the way that they played against United, if they try and play that against Burnley, I think Burnley will counter-attack. And Burnley are pretty much on form. They're one of the form teams at the moment, being very impressive. I knew they'll tend to form around, and they're climbing up to 16th in the league now. So it's going to be an interesting one. But I do think Burnley will get a result from this. This is the type of game where, people we'll be expecting Leeds to kind of go win. And I was thinking about putting Leeds on, but I think if you got to respect Burnley. They are an established Premier League team. Sean Dyche knows how to get the best out of his players, and he's going to make it difficult. He's going to make it miserable for Leeds. They're going to get frustrated, and that's when Burnley are going to pounce. Next game is West Ham versus Brighton. This is a very exciting game. I think West Ham have been pretty good. I think the league position doesn't justify how good they've been this season. A poor result against Chelsea, though. I do have to admit they're losing 3-0. But at the end of the day, it's Chelsea away from home. It's a difficult place to go. And Brighton played better away from home after the draw against Sheffield United. They are very difficult, and this one could also be a very sketchy one to put on a bet. Because Brighton away from home very good. The way that they played, the style that they play kind of suits a team that plays away from home. So that's why I've gone for both teams to score in this one. But I do think West Ham will come out as winners. I feel like they've got enough this season, and I have faith in West Ham, such as like Southampton, two teams who started off very well. But who knows? It could be maybe a bit of a downfall now for West Ham. We'll see. But I can't see it. I think they'll go out as winners. But Brighton, you can never write them off. They're very, very unpredictable. Liverpool versus West Brom, another game where, like Man City, Newcastle, where it's going to be a big scoreline to the home team. And in the last four of the last 5 games at home, Liverpool haven't received a yellow card. So that's why I've gone for West Brom to get the first yellow card. They are away from home, so it's going to be a lot harder, and they're going to be putting more challenges in to try and stop Liverpool from playing. I think the West Brom first yellow card is actually a very good bet. I am actually very happy that I found this one. But I just don't really give them a chance, especially after the way that they played against Villa. Villa pulled them apart 3-0 at home. Going to Anfield, it's the hardest place in the league to go and play. Trying to get anything from this game, I think this is the one bet this weekend where this is a guaranteed win for Liverpool. I just don't give West Brom a chance at all, especially after they just demolished Crystal Palace 7-0. But I do think it's going to be tight, though. I don't think it's just going to be as open as what that Palace game was. But I do feel like Liverpool are going to be far too strong. The last game of the weekend is Wolves against Spurs. This is going to be a very, very tight one. I've gone for an under 2.5. In the last five, I think, the last six of Wolves home games, there's only been once where it's ever been 2.5 goals, and that was in the last game against Chelsea. But the way that Spurs play, they're a lot more defensive, and I think they need to get a result from this game. Spurs do. That's why I've gone for a 1-0 win. I think defensively they still got it, but I think they'll try and let Wolves play, and then they'll do the counter-attack football which they've been doing. And I think Wolves, without Raul Jimenez, don't look the same team, especially after the poor result against Burnley. But who knows? I think there's going to be a tight one. I can't see many goals in it, and I think it'll be a bit of a drab game to finish, unfortunately, the weekend of football. But I've gone for a tight one for Spurs to win. Alright guys, that concludes all my predictions. Let me know what your guys' predictions are down below. I'll put the full bet of all the bets which are done on the screen right now. As I say, hope you all had a good Christmas. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.